So far, Charlie, it's been a bit of a World Cup of shocks. We've seen Argentina beaten, which was a major shock, and Germany. You think of any reason for it?
Well, it's great for a start, isn't it? That's the first thing. It's so important to get a World Cup off in an explosive way. I don't think any of us expected two big shocks like that. It's funny, isn't it? We thought that when we had a World Cup in the middle of the season, it would benefit all the so-called big nations, that they're not tired and they've not spent the whole season playing in the Champions League right to the final. Well, maybe in a funny sort of way, it will benefit some of the other nations as well. Obviously, not everyone plays by the same calendar, although a lot do. But maybe some of the bigger nations, the players, are not totally prepared. Obviously, they were playing for their league clubs a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I think it's great. I think we're going to have a really good tournament.
But if you're a real football fan, you love a beautiful game. You don't want Messi going out after the end of the group stage, do you? That's not good for the tournament. We want him to have a chance if England weren't to win it. We want him to have a chance of winning the World Cup.
I think a lot of fans think it's funny if Messi and Argentina get knocked out. I think,
Charlie, love of the game. Messi to win the World Cup. What an end to a career.
It would do, and it'd be a great story, and many people would love that. But I think a lot of fans are sat back home would find it, of course, hilarious if Germany get knocked out. Wouldn't be bothered if Argentina get knocked out, and it looks as though Brazil are going to be fine. But even if they did, England fans just think, well, we've got a better chance of winning the World Cup now. I actually think not all of them are rooting for Argentina and Brazil.
I was at the game between Portugal and Ghana. You just knew it would be the Ronaldo show. He ends up with man of the match, even though really that's the way round here. You just give it to the most famous person. But he did score the penalty. He does appear to put the Man United stuff behind him, and they look pretty good in the second half, I thought. Given the little wobble at the end.
Yeah, at the end. Look, Portugal could do all right. They're not going to win the World Cup.
No.
It's not surprising that Ronaldo was the story. He made it the story.
Beautiful picture of him jumping in front of the Messi billboard just behind him as
exactly.
he scored.
Yeah, I don't think it was a penalty.
No, absolutely not.
But you just mentioned a topic there about the man of the match, and one really thing that struck me, apart from the fact that the first attendances were bigger than the actual official stadium capacities, which has been rectified, was how ridiculous some of the man of the match have been. Actually, most of them, as you say, they're just look. In England, we often joke about how the TV companies, their man of the match, basically it's the player they want to talk to, which they do. But here, the man of the match is, even going back to the England one, the opening game. Bukayo Saka played ever so well. It was a great story. Jude Bellingham was man of the match, wasn't he?
We had Kevin De Bruyne, of course, for Belgium, saying,
absolutely.
I don't know what I got this for.
100%, and of course Ronaldo as well. So it's just, if you're famous and you scored, you're man of the match. Or you score twice, you get man of the match.
Actually, in the Belgium-Canada game, you could argue about 6 Canadians deserved it.
100%.
They really could. Interestingly, from Brazil's start, we're all expecting to be talking about Neymar, which we are slightly because he got an injury last night. But Richarlison is the star of the show, a player who we always think, is he really a brilliant player? Was he particularly at Everton? Why did Tottenham sign him? And now we're seeing why they signed him.
Yeah, goal of the tournament, certainly so far. Brilliant goal. I think a lot of fans in England quite like him. I think he's a bit of a cult hero in England, isn't he? Even supporters that don't follow Spurs
one of those
or Everton.
You hate if he's on the opposition, but you love having him.
100%. So I think he's got a bit of a fan base back in England. Neymar, if reports of his ego is anything to go by, will probably be pleased that Richarlison scored that goal. But he's probably got the hump as well because, he does have a massive ego and it's about someone else. But ultimately, going forward, Brazil look brilliant, don't they? And they're going to do well, obviously, at the World Cup. Is their defence good enough? Is their defence capable of a couple of sloppy moments in the semi-final? Yes. So that's why I don't think they're nailed on.
We've seen France, we've seen Spain. There's obviously something to worry about from those two sides. Spain, virtually every shot on target went in, and France recovered well to beat Australia. So they look like they're reasonable threats to any possible England.
They're reasonable threats. England would always expect that, but for once, even compared to 4 years ago, France genuinely will be talking about Brazil and England being the threats.